Hello my loves, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl Kensthetic with the Kensthetics, and I'm here with you guys today with a new video. So in today's video, I kind of wanted to do like a girl chat, kind of like a girls night in, kind of like a lessons I learned in 2023, kind of like a 2023 recap, summary. I wanted to sit here and just talk to you guys about lessons that I have learned in 2023 that I plan to apply to my life from here on out, so that we can be more successful, so that we can be more happy, so that we can be more wealthy. These are life lessons that I want to sit here and share with you guys, so that if you guys are experiencing some of the same things that I went through, or you know, these are just tools you can have in your back pocket for a rainy day or whatever. But I wanted to sit here and share 10 things that I have learned in 2023 with you guys. Okay, this video may get kind of deep, so I'm just giving y'all a little precursor. But before we get started, before we get into the chat, make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel and that your bell notifications are on, because your girl is participating in Vlogmas 2023. So you guys are getting videos throughout the month of December, but you have to have on your post notifications so you can see when your girl uploads. Okay, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy, drop a comment down below, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to address today's look. Hold on, let me grab my little drinky drink. Is it really a girl chat if we don't have a drinky drink? Let's address today's look. So I have my hair in this twist out. This is like day 3 of a twist out. It look real good, right? I love the volume. And then I have on this headband that I purchased from Forever 21 while I was in New York. Y'all remember her? Y'all remember her? I'm wearing these silky pajamas that I purchased from H&M last year, I think. But they cute, right? I love this red. It's just, that's everything for me. And then I have my drinky drink. This cup is actually from Home Goods. I got this set of Golden Girls cups from Home Goods. I'm pretty sure they have it again this year if you guys can find it in your local Home Goods. But my drink tonight, it's a little mocktail. It's my regular. It's lime sparkling water with agave and key limes, fresh key limes squeezed inside, hand squeezed. Okay, but let's go ahead and get into the chat, girl. Overall, 2023 was a very interesting year for me. It had its ups, it had its downs, as every year does, right? I feel like it didn't beat me down too bad, but it did build me up a lot. I will say that. Me looking at myself on January 1st versus me looking at myself today, I have definitely grown to be a stronger, more peaceful, happier, wiser woman, and I am super thankful for that. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 2023 was probably like a 7. I was showered with tons of blessings. I was able to strengthen my relationship with God. I have been able to work on turning my house into a home. This was my first, this is going to be my first full year as a homeowner, as a Texas resident, and I have so much to be thankful for from 2023. I feel like for most people, comment and let me know if you guys can relate, but 2023 was a year of lessons. Like, God came through and told us, like, sis, stop doing that. Sis, go over there. Sis, go over there. Sis, not now. Okay? And remember, delayed never means denied. So 2023 has been a year of lessons for myself and majority of my friends that I spoke to about it. And I love that, because a lot of times we just need to sit. Like, we just need to sit back. We just need to sit still. We just need to just sit and be obedient and wait for things to fall into place, because they are going to fall in place. It's not going to be on your timing, okay? It's going to be on His timing, and we are forever grateful for that. So 2023, it was a year of lessons. It was like, okay, let me show you some things you could put in your toolbox, so that when it's time for you to bring it out in 2024, you already have those skills. You already have that patience. You already have that characteristic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 2023, 7.5 out of 10. I took notes on my iPad because I wanted to, you know, make sure I stayed on topic, because I told y'all we may get a little deep in this video, okay? So the first lesson, let me get my drink for this. First lesson is that time is such a powerful tool. Time is such a powerful tool. Nobody can control time. Nobody can stop time. Time keeps going. No matter what you're going through, whether it's good, whether it's bad, the interesting thing is that time always keeps going. Time waits on no man. It waits on no woman. It keeps going. And time is one of those things that I feel like I didn't value much before this year. I was just like, oh, you know, it's just 20 minutes or it's just half an hour. It's just, and this year I have really learned to value my time, and I have learned ways to maximize my time, because we all say, oh, we have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. Oh, we have the same 24 hours as Kim Kardashian. And they, you know, are such huge icons. And I feel like most of the pressure that I used to have on time was based on those, you know, sayings or those beliefs. And when you realize what time means to you, that's when you will understand how to best utilize your time. So for me, I'm like, all right, we got 24 hours in a day. How I'm gonna divvy this up? I have learned that going to the gym in the morning is that's probably my jam, okay? I always say, like, you know, I start work at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So how can I maximize my day by using the time that I have before work and utilizing the time that I have after work, right? So after work, I'm doing my content, I'm cooking dinner, I am practicing to be the housewife that I want to be. So the gym doesn't really fall into that, because the gym isn't just the hour or the hour and a half that I work out. It's the time it takes me to get dressed. It's the time it takes me to travel over there. It's the time that it takes me to travel back. It's the little HEB or Target run that I probably squeeze in between there. But going to the gym is a whole agenda. But I prefer to do that in the morning, so that in the evening, aka right now, I don't have to worry about going to the gym. I don't have to live with the guilt of, oh, you didn't work out today. Because babes, I did it this morning, okay? So that is one example of how I have learned to value my time and how I have been utilizing my time effectively so that I can make the most out of my days. But throughout this year, I feel like a lot of people tried to play with my time. And I'm gonna say try, because I didn't allow them to. Things only occur in your life if you allow them to. Things only come into your life if you allow them to. So a lot of people tried to play with my time, and I literally, no pun intended, I don't have the time for people to play with my time, okay? My time is very valuable. I have learned this year not to allow people to waste my time, because it is so valuable. People will say, oh, we're gonna do this at 11 a.m. They're not ready until 1 p.m. So now I wasted 2 hours out of my day by basically trying to move on someone else's time. It's like, when I tell y'all that is the ultimate blow, it's the ultimate blow. So overall, I just want to share with you guys that this year has really taught me the value of time. This year has really taught me how important it is to utilize your time effectively. And when I was watching the Renaissance film, okay, if you guys didn't see it yet, it's not really a spoiler, but Beyonce said in the film, as human beings, the way we work, the way we hustle, we really have become machines, and time is the battery source. I'm gonna let that sink in real quick. She said, we really have become machines, and time is the battery source. When I heard that, when I was watching the film, I heard a lot of things that I was just like, finger snaps, sister, finger snaps, Beyonce, Giselle, Notes, Carter. But that's, time is the battery source. It literally is. Like, we have to put the time into ourselves. We have to put the time into our crafts. We have to put the time into anything that we want to grow, to foster. And if you don't have the time to put into it, or you don't choose to put the time into it, it's not going to operate. It's not going to, you know, go where you want it to go. It's just not gonna go, okay? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be a thing. So we always have to remember that time is our battery source. The next lesson that I learned in 2023 was, don't make excuses for people. Believe people when they show you who they are. I started therapy this year. In May of 2023, I started therapy, right? And before I started therapy, I really didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to get out of it. I just knew that I wanted to start therapy to be a better person. And my therapist also happens to be a Christ counselor as well as a life coach. So when we have our sessions, it's like a mixture of it all. It's like, okay, how can you be a better person overall? Life coaching. Okay, how can you strengthen your relationship with God? Christ counselor. And then the emotional, all of that, the therapist. The combination of it all, I love it. But one thing that one thing that my therapist made me aware of is that my name, Kendra, the biblical meaning of my name is knowledge. I be knowing stuff. I do. I be knowing stuff. And when she said that, I had to sit with that for like a week, because I'm like, I really be knowing stuff. And I think a lot of times I'm scared to know stuff, if that makes sense. Like, I'll know something, but I won't verbalize it. I won't, internalize it. I'll just like ignore it, because I'm just like, I don't want this to be true. But at the same time, I know that's what it is. And it's crazy, because this year has shown me time after time after time after time different examples of me knowing what things are, what people are, and just like brushing it to the side because I don't want that to be true. I was basically making excuses for people. And once I sat with that thought, I said, I'm no longer going to brush my feelings aside. I'm no longer going to brush things under a rug just to, make somebody be something that I want them to be, or ignore red flags about people, or not voice my opinions on certain things. My knowledge is powerful, and I feel like that's one of the purposes, that was one of God's purposes placing me here, was so that I can basically know things, share things, and just overall have an impact on people that I have around me, people that I encounter, people that need me, okay? That's what I believe that a part of my purpose of being here is, and this year has taught me that, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So I say all of that to say, it's super important for us to stop falling for our anticipated perspective of a person. Stop falling in love with friends that are terrible people, but in your mind, you're like, but they have the potential to go here. They have the potential to go. We have to live life with purpose, not potential. So that's something that I really had to just like drill down on. Like, stop falling in love with the idea that you have of a person, and like fall in love with the person for who they are, or don't mess with this person because they're not the type of person you want to be around you. Like, take things for face value and stop trying to paint things up and decorate things to be such a beautiful masterpiece when most of the time they're not. And I feel like at this point of our lives, because I imagine that majority of you guys that tune into my videos and support your girl's journey, that you guys are about my age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, but either way, I feel like we are all at a space in our lives where we have to understand that people are who they are, people act how they do, and at this big age, we have to understand that a lot of people are not going to change, okay? A lot of times people come into our lives and you're like, oh, they could change that. They're gonna change that. People only change if they want to change. People aren't gonna change because you have an idea that you want them to change. People are only gonna change if they want to change, if they genuinely want to change. So don't ever feel like you can take somebody in and turn them into a completely different person, or bring somebody in and, stop trying to decorate people to be what you want them to be. They're not a Christmas tree. People are human beings, and you just gotta accept people for who they are. Like, The third lesson that I learned in 2023 is, I need a little sippy sip. Don't be afraid to establish boundaries and exercise them. If you asked me at the beginning of 2023 what my definition of boundaries were, or how I establish and exercise boundaries, my main or probably only response that I would have for you is, I'm not afraid to tell people no. And that still stands, it does. But that is not the ultimate premise of a boundary. I feel like boundaries are you putting limits on what you are willing to accept. That is a boundary. You'll accept a little bit of the BS. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit of the BS. But you're not gonna accept too much of the BS, okay? Because when you hit that limit, when that person hits that limit of times that they're gonna mess with you, or that limit of times they're gonna be late, or that limit of times they're not gonna show up, That's it. Okay, that is it. I feel like the biggest lesson that I probably learned about boundaries in 2023 is that there's a huge difference between boundaries and walls. There is a boundary and then there is a wall. So let's talk about the difference real quick, very quickly. So a wall is literally a wall. A wall, it keeps people out, right? It says, I'm on this side, y'all over there. Y'all can't come. It's a wall, okay? A boundary is like, I would describe it as like, maybe like a fence or a shorter wall, where it's like, there's a division, but there's still space to hop over. And that space to hop over is only going to be eligible for healthy people. Everybody else who's unhealthy, they're gonna stay over there. So a wall is saying like, I'm not taking anything, like I don't even have to think about it because there's no way that it's possible. But a boundary is like, maybe. If you are healthy, you'll come. If you are this, you'll come. I'll allow it. You know what I'm saying? I would say that boundaries, healthy boundaries, okay? I should have emphasized this at the beginning. Healthy boundaries, because there's such thing as unhealthy boundaries, but this isn't a whole therapy session, okay? This is just a little girl chat. But establishing and exercising boundaries are super important, and not just in friendships. It applies across the board. So family, friendships, romantic relationships, co-worker relationships. I don't think there's a such thing as a healthy relationship without boundaries being in place. Because if not, babes, you will deteriorate, and you can't pour into other people if you can't even pour into yourself. My peace is everything, okay? My peace is priceless. My peace is, there's no price that you can put on my peace. My peace has been the center of my attention since I have transitioned in many areas of my life, right? When I moved from New York to Houston, Texas, and bought my home, I knew that I wanted my home to be a place of peace, okay? This is my peace headquarters. This is the headquarters of peace. And I absolutely love that. Like, that is my biggest, like, thing that I love about my house, is that I have built it to be a place where I feel peaceful, where I experience peace. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how hard times get, me being in my home just brings me a different level of peace. And that is a part of the transition of turning your house into a home. Because home is a physical place, but it's also a feeling. And a part of that feeling of a home is peace. Like, me saying this right now, I'm literally having like butterflies in my body, because I always said whenever I have my own space, I want it to be peaceful. That is the most important thing to me. Experiencing peace in the place where I lay my head. Experiencing peace in a place that I am comfortable and confident feeling. I'm comfortable and confident calling my home, right? If anything, anyone disrupts my peace, or is trying to disrupt my peace, or has the intention of disrupting my peace, or doesn't care about my peace, I'm sorry, but it's not for me. It's not for me. And I mean that with all 28 of my, how many teeth we got? All of my teeth, okay? It's not for me, okay? It's not. Anything that steers me away from the place, and when I say place, I mean the physical place and also the mental place, the emotional place, the spiritual place that I have created to be home or to be my peace, you're not for me. There is no dollar value that can be placed on my peace. Like, my peace is so expensive that nobody can afford it. Like, nobody can afford it. Nobody can offer me money and say, hey, let me buy your peace. So let's make an even exchange. It's no even exchange. So yeah, I have really learned that anything that comes in the way between myself and my peace, it's not for me. It's not for me. And just because something isn't for me, that doesn't mean that it's not for someone else, but it specifically is not for me. Next up is knowing and understanding your intentions. Everything that we do in life, we should know what our intentions are. And when we know what our intentions are, once we're moving from a place of good intentions, to me, it doesn't matter what other people interpret it as. A lot of times when people ask me for advice, the first thing that I always ask them is what was their intention behind their actions. And if people can't tell me or can't justify their intentions behind a certain action, I always say, I sound like a therapist, like what? I always encourage them to first understand what your intentions are and then you act. It's not the other way around. You don't act and then figure out what your intentions are. When you are moving from a place of good intention, that is when I feel like blessings are showered upon us, right? Blessings come in different ways, as we all know by now. They look differently, they walk differently, they come at different times. But either way, I just feel like a part of me wanting to become a better person is making sure that all of my actions are justified by positive and good intentions, and just moving in that light. That is what I need to get to whatever the place is that looks like a better version of me is. So always remember, whenever you are about to act, before you act, okay? Before you go ahead and I don't even know what people be doing nowadays. I don't want to give y'all no ideas, but before you act, make sure that you know what your intentions are, and make sure that you are always moving out of a place that has good intentions, has positive intentions, because what we put out is what we get in. If we put out positive, we get positive. If we put out something that's not positive, I don't like saying that word, then that's what we would get. It's reciprocated. So always remember that. Stop expecting you from other people. A lot of times we'll experience things and we'll say, oh, but I wouldn't do that. But why would they do that to me and I don't move like that? You have to understand that that person isn't you. You are you. That person is that person and you are you. So when you sit here and beat yourself up and try to justify people's actions based on what you would do or how you would act, that is what will drive you crazy, and that is what will interrupt you from your purpose. That will interrupt you from your values. That will interrupt you from your principles, because you're so focused on the fact that this person didn't react or didn't act in a way that you would, that you're so hung up on it that you're missing out on everything else that's going on. You're missing out on your time, because you're spending time sitting here trying to analyze things and understand why people did the things how they wanted, you know, how they chose to, and not the way that you would have done it. But you have to stop expecting you from other people. And when you stop doing that, I promise you, it's such a refreshing feeling. It's such a relieving feeling, because you really understand, like, everybody doesn't think like you. Nobody may think like you. Nobody may do the things that you would do for you. And that's why it's important that you do the things that you want to do for you, because you cannot sit back and expect other people to do it for you and then be upset when they don't, because that person isn't you. Hello. So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned this year, because once I learned that, my mindset shifted. When your mindset shifts, everything around you shifts. And it's just like, whew, child. That one right there, that one hit me differently this year. It made me look at things from such a different perspective that I'm so happy that I can see now. It's like, I can see clearly now the days. So quick little intermission is, I learned in 2023 to be very intentional, that word again, with the words that I use, with the words that I allow to be in my vocabulary, with the words that I allow to be around me. Because when you say words, like, the power of the tongue is so real, that it's like, once you say words or you surround yourself with certain things, you start to believe it. And it's a unconscious thing. Like, we may be like, no, we're not gonna believe this, X, Y, and Z. But when you're surrounded by things for long enough, or for a certain depth of experience, it gets instilled in you. So I've been very intentional with the words that I've been using this year. That brings us into the next lesson that I learned this year, which is that every experience is either a win or a lesson. Okay, L stands for lesson. W stands for wins. L stands for lessons. They don't stand for the other thing that we used to know it as. But the thing we used to know it as in 2022, that's not what it's been in 2023, okay? It's either a win or a lesson. And I say this because a lot of times when things don't work out in our favor or work out the way that we believe that they should have worked out, even though we shouldn't be determining things. We tend to think, oh, it's done, it's not gonna happen, or it's not for me. And that may not always be the case, because as I mentioned earlier, delayed does not always mean denied. But from each experience, we either have a win or a lesson, or sometimes we have both. You can have a win and a lesson. So I have been very intentional with the words I've been using, and I have replaced that word that we previously knew for the letter L with lessons. L stands for lessons. L, it stands for lessons. One thing that I really had to learn this year, okay, this lesson, this one hit differently, because I was not appreciating my current situations, right? The next lesson is to slow down and enjoy every moment of your journey. Slow down, grab the ball, wiggle like you're trying to make it. But a lot of times we tend to think long term, right? We're like, this is where I ultimately want to go. This is where I ultimately want to get. This is what I ultimately want to have. This is what I ultimately. And while we are so focused on that ultimate long-term goal, we are not paying attention and cherishing and appreciating the current states of our situations, the current state of our lives, the current blessings that we are being showered with, because we're just thinking it's not what I know or what I would like to have long-term. But we also have to realize this is what we have now, okay? This is our current situation. This is our current blessing that we're living in. Appreciate it, okay? Slow down. And even though having long-term goals and wants or whatever the situation is cool, it's also cool to sit back and bask in what you're currently living in, because we don't know if we'll ever get there, right? We are not the ones to make the decision as to if we get there, but we do have our current situations, okay? We have our current blessings. We have what is currently our environment. We have what is currently on our plates, and we need to spend more time appreciating that. And that's something I wasn't doing because I was so focused on long term. I'm like, this is what I ultimately want to get. This is where I ultimately know I want to go. And I will be missing out on celebrating my small wins because I was just waiting on like the big ticket, or waiting on this, or waiting on, and it's like, no girl, look what you got right in front of you. Look at what you have right now, and you're missing out on celebrating this because you're waiting on that. Stop playing with yourself. Stop playing with yourself. Stop playing with your potential, and appreciate what you have while you have it. Next up is vulnerability is not weakness. That is something that I have definitely learned this year, because 2023 has been a year of really getting in touch with my emotions, really understanding what I'm feeling and being okay with what I'm feeling, whether it's good or bad. I feel like the reason why I was so afraid of being in touch with my emotions is because I associated that with being weak. I associated that with not being the strongest soldier, which for so long I've had to live up to that character. And I realized this year, like, it's okay to be sad. Every day is not going to be a good day. Crying does not, mean that you're weak, or that you're less than, or that you're broken. I have associated crying with all of those things in the past, and it's like, there's a such thing as crying happy tears, but I never understood that or practiced that, because I really associated crying with negative times, right? With being broken, with being disrespected, with whatever the situation was before. I never felt comfortable crying to let things out, because I always thought it would bring me back to a space where I felt weak, or I felt less than, or I felt broken. So this year has really taught, even on my channel, I'm sure you guys probably have seen the progression of me opening up to you guys, me being more transparent, me being more vulnerable. And even though this is just a beginning step for me, I definitely want to share more of that with you guys here on my YouTube channel, and also like with my friends through conversations that we have, or just touch points, because you never know what people are going through. And with being vulnerable, you don't know how many people you can connect to, or you don't know how your story may impact anyone. And I share all of this, and I told you guys in the beginning of the video, you guys may currently relate to things that I'm saying or sharing, or you can put it in your back pocket and you can have it for a rainy day. Because just because you don't relate to something now, that doesn't mean you will never relate to it in the future. That doesn't mean that your life will never change in a way where you can connect with that experience or connect with that person. So I highly encourage you guys, not just by watching this video, but just going through day-to-day life. Like, you never know how your connections can help you out. So never be afraid to say, oh, you know, something as simple as, oh, this person works in healthcare. I never want to work in healthcare, so I don't. You need to build your network, and your network is not just people or connections that you have. Your network is deeper than that, okay? It's so much deeper. Like, it's a whole separate video can be made about that. But never limit your network, never limit your environment, never limit the people that you allow into your life. As long as you feel that you are using your discernment to allow people around you, that is the most important thing. But it's okay to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, or whatever bad connotations that we have on the word vulnerability or being transparent. It is okay. It's absolutely normal. And last but not least, this lesson, if you guys have been watching my recent videos, you guys know I have been emphasizing this because I experienced something that I'm not necessarily ready to share yet. It's nothing like bad, but it was just bad for me at that moment, right? And the lesson is that energy can be felt and transferred. And I feel like this whole year I've been doing such a great job, like weeding out energy that isn't good for me, weeding out energy that doesn't connect to who I am and where I am right now, as far as like my journey, spiritual journey, mental journey, emotional journey. I've been doing a great job like judging situations and things and being like, oh, this person is not good for me, so let me leave them over there, let me leave them where they at. Or this experience is not good for me, so let me not go over there, let me not even put myself in that situation. But I experienced something where I was just like, I can't believe that I took this in, or I can't believe that I allowed this to happen. But girl, it's a whole, we could do a whole nother video about that. But I felt like my energy was literally sucked out of me. Like somebody put a straw in my ear and just sucked it out. And I felt so like weak. I did. I felt so defeated. And I'm just like, I feel like I've made all of this progress, and to feel like I'm back at square one, I really felt like down. I was down for like a day. And then I was just like, I can't allow one situation to change the trajectory of my life, or to define my journeys that I have worked so hard on progressing in. Like, what? Are you dumb? So I got myself together. I got back on my feet, and I'm definitely in a better space now. But that lesson really taught me and emphasized to me, like, energy is felt, energy is transferred. That's why I'm very intentional, that word again, about how I come on camera, right? Because my purpose of coming on camera and sharing things with you guys via my content is to encourage at least one person to see the beauty of life, of different aspects of life, right? I can't encourage someone if my energy is not in a positive space. I can't encourage someone if I'm not coming out of a genuine place doing the things that I'm doing, right? So energy has just been super important. Like, energy can really be felt. And I don't know what it is, if it's my whole yoga journey, but I have just been like Zen Ken. I have. And I love that for me. So anything that is draining my energy, it gotta go. Anything that's taking up too much of my energy, it gotta go. Like, positive energy only, positive vibes only, and that's on what? Period. So those are 10 lessons that I have learned in the year of 2023 that has been helping me on my journey of becoming a better person. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this girl chat, and that you guys took at least one thing out of this video to put in your life or in your toolbox for a rainy day. Remember I told y'all, if y'all can't relate now, that don't mean y'all never gonna be able to relate, okay? I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys found this video helpful, entertaining. You know, I just felt like I wanted to give y'all a video where it was like we sitting on FaceTime and we just talking about our year. Make sure you guys comment down below and let me know what is one lesson that you have learned in 2023 that you believe can help you become a better version of yourself. Comment down below and let me know what that has been for you guys this year. I love you guys so much. Make sure you guys are subscribed, give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to drop that comment down below. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later.